Good evening, everyone. The time now is 6 p.m. We're going to start the Monday, April 15th, 2024 Finance and Purchasing Committee. Roll call, please.
Alderman Guzman. Alderman Hayes.
Present.
Alderman Florian.
Present.
Alderman Bolton. Present. Alderman Newsom.
Present. We have a quorum. Item C, approval of the minutes. Can I get a motion to approve the minutes from March 18th, 2024?
So moved.
Seconded.
Motion by Alderman Florian, second by Alderman Hayes. Are there any questions to the motion? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. Item D, approval of the minutes from March 25th, 2024, Special Finance and Purchasing Committee. Can I get a motion?
I so move.
Motion by Alderman Bolton,
Second.
second by Alderman Hayes. Are there any questions to this motion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Item E, public comment. Is there anyone in the audience that wants to talk?
Absolutely.
All right, Madam Clerk.
Are you ready, Ms. Kelly? I'm ready. Alderpersons, I see tonight that you have a memo for Bob Benz, Director of Risk Management, regarding the methodology for establishing equitable and competitive compensation practices. This salary budget presentation would not cut muster in a real business. The only info provided is the salary, but not the increase amount or percentage. Just a long list of entities they used as comparable, but no means or averages or quartile, tercile ranges. The question to ask is, are they going to do the same salary survey every year or just jack up everyone's salary year after year? Additionally, there is also a list for the elected officials with no change. However, these salaries were not part of the salary survey. On January 2nd, I did a presentation to the mayor regarding the fiscal year 25 budget for the office of the city clerk. Upon entering the room, Chief of Staff George Bridges made it a point to tell me that the city was doing a salary survey and they would be addressing the inequity in the pay for the office of the city clerk position. Well, that obviously didn't happen. Last year, I did a comprehensive presentation to you regarding the pay, or rather the lack of pay increase since 2012 for the elected office holder of the city clerk. This is a full-time administration position as well as a department head with 3 direct staff executing statutory requirements. Moreover, I perform the duties expected of all department heads at the city of Waukegan. I also observed in Exhibit A that the nearest department head salary to the city clerk is a difference of $35,000. In my presentation last year, I provided comparables. I even gave a reasonable base for you to consider for whoever's the next city clerk. Again, this is not for me and only affects the next election cycle. This lack of equity in assessing a pay range for the future elected clerk is a terrible reflection of this board and of blatant political partisanship, especially since you aldermen increased your pay and stipend for 2027, and at the same time, it was never rescinded. Only the future city clerk pay scheduled to start in 2025. My request, aldermen, is that you address and rectify this base pay inequity by amending the motion on the floor to the original base salary request of $94,000, thus giving the future elected city clerk office holder the fairness, equity, and respect they are due. Ooh, on the money.
You ready? Timekeeper, are we ready? Thank you very much. I want to make some comments about line item, this is item C, the resolution approving the repaving of roads for Huntington Lake subdivision in the amount of $219,983.95. This, we'll call it $250,000. And I went out there and looked at those roads, and there's several things wrong with this motion. First of all, we approved a roads program several months ago. This was not included in it, but now it comes up here after the fact, late after the fact at the last minute. Secondly, roads program, or road repairs go through the Public Works Committee, but this was not put in the Public Works, it was put in the Finance Committee. Thus, I'm here speaking about it. Thirdly, I went out and went over in that area and looked at it. I looked at the map and I drove over there. You're looking at about 1 mile of an entire subdivision, and the road is not that bad. Certainly the road is weathered, but it is not cracked and deteriorated. There's some minor patches of potholes, but it is not extraordinary, and it by no way justifies the expense of resurfacing. And then, on the other hand, we have numerous streets here in more central Waukegan and several other wards, the 4th Ward, the 7th Ward, the 5th Ward, the 6th Ward, and the 1st Ward for certain. So I don't understand why this is here, how it got on the docket for the Finance Committee, why it's happening at the last minute, why an entire subdivision where it's not needed is getting it. But here's what I found out. About 2 weeks ago, maybe 3 weeks ago, there was an HOA meeting held over in that subdivision, Huntington Lakes. Alderman Hayes and Mayor Taylor attended, and in that meeting, they made the commitment that they would get this done by the end of the year. And it sounds like another political play, another political plum. I'm telling you, ladies and gentlemen, that street does not warrant any resurfacing. And you're talking about an entire mile. When you, aldermen, we can't get 1 block, can't get 1 alley, 1 extra alley, nothing. But here this is at the last minute in the wrong committee trying to get slipped through like nobody's going to see it. I see it, it's wrong, and I don't like it. And I urge you to pass it on with a negative recommendation. Thank you.
Is there anyone else for audience time? Can I get a motion to seat Alderman Guzman?
I so move.
Motion by Alderman Bolton,
Second.
second by Alderman Hayes. All those in favor? Motion carried. Excuse me. We'll move on to new business. Item A, a resolution approving the renewal of insurance package as proposed by Alliant Insurance Services, Inc. for a not-to-exceed amount of $4,372,628. Can I get a motion on the floor?
So moved.
Motion by Alderman Florian,
Second.
second by Alderman Hayes. Waukegan is a self-insured for both workers' comp and property and casualty insurance. Claims up to the respective policy self-insured retentions. The stop-loss protection policies are designed to limit claim losses to a specified amount to prevent a heightened financial burden to the reserves of the city's plan. Alliant is the designated representative for the city of aforementioned policies for coverage. Are there any questions to this motion? Motion by Alderman Florian. Question by Alderman Florian.
It's not really a question, it's more of a comment. I wanted to commend Mr. Bentz for his work with our insurance carriers. And I want to emphasize, although you use the word self-insured, we are not totally self-insured. We are only I know you were just reading what was here. We're just self-insured up to a certain dollar amount, and this insurance covers us above and beyond that dollar amount. There's some confusion sometimes about those words with some people, and I just wanted to clarify that.
Absolutely. Are there any other questions? Roll call, please.
Alderman Guzman.
Aye.
Alderman Florian.
Aye.
Alderman Hayes.
Aye.
Alderman Bolton.
Aye.
Alderman Newsome.
Aye, motion carried. Item B, resolution approving a settlement and release of all claims for Police Department Employee Compensation Claim Number 231026W006 for an amount not to exceed $93,099.18. Can I get a motion on the floor?
I so move.
Motion by Alderman Bolton,
Sorry. Second.
second by Alderman Hayes. Are there any questions to this motion? Roll call, please.
Alderman Guzman.
Aye.
Alderman Florian.
Aye.
Alderman Hayes.
Aye.
Alderman Bolton.
Aye.
Alderman Newsome.
Aye, motion carried. Item C, a resolution approving the repaving of roads for Huntington Lake subdivision per section 2-458, subsection I-7, good faith waiver by Peter Baker and Son Company for not to exceed amount of $219,983.95. Can I get a motion on the floor?
So moved.
Motion by Alderman Hayes,
Second.
second by Alderman Florian. Staff recommends that the members of the Finance and Purchasing Committee authorize the mayor to approve the resolution approving the repaving of roads for Huntington Lake subdivision per section 2-458 subsection I-7, good faith waiver by Peter Baker and Son Company for not to exceed amount of $219,983.95. Funds to be charged to line item 312-1227635. Are there any questions to this motion?
I have a question.
Alderman Bolton?
Is this in reference to the audience comment in reference to the repaving? Does it include within this?
Yes.
So how can we honor or respect the request or make changes that would acknowledge the audience comment?
What do you mean? How do you acknowledge it?
That's a good question. That's what I'm kind of asking. Help me to navigate through this conversation to acknowledge the audience comment in reference to making sure not just the particular ward, Alderman Ninth Ward, but all it be distributed evenly, I guess is what I'm trying to say.
I think everyone has a list of all the roads that they're going to be done by the end of this year and next year. And I'm not sure if there were any roads on that list that were for Ward 9. I think they were in all of the other wards.
There's about 28 roads on that list. There's not a single road in the Ninth Ward. The road in question is about 25, potentially 27 years old. It hasn't been resurfaced. What's interesting about this road is there's no sidewalks in the neighborhood, there's no sewers, and there's no curbs. So initially, we thought it would cost $1 million to do this at considerable legal expense to the city because you would have to go through, under Illinois law, and install sidewalks throughout the entire neighborhood, which would mess up the drainage system. There is a more likely than not chance that the members of the neighborhood are willing to waive their ability to get a sidewalk installed at the city's expense, which would probably cover the rest of the $780,000 to go through, do that, re-landscape people's lawns. So what the city's getting here is the opportunity to repave a street that doesn't have any lead implications, a street that hasn't been done in almost 3 decades, and we're getting it at a considerable discount because we believe that we're going to have the citizens go ahead to not have to put in curbs and sidewalks. So there's other comments that were made during audience time regarding political maneuvers. Anything that's done in this city is subject to city council approval, and any messaging to the HOA would have been very, very clear that nothing, not a dollar can be spent without the city council approval. So I'm happy to address any other questions you have on that front, but I know last year a culvert had to be fixed because it was dangerous, and there are considerable sections of the road that will have to be redone by Public Works, where they will have to allocate crews over a couple of weeks to go in and rip out sections, mainly almost every corner within the neighborhood. So we can pay Public Works to do that, and that will cost, I don't know exactly how much, but a significant amount of time, and allocate Public Works resources. Or we could take advantage of the discount that the city is seeing and pave the entirety of the road that's due to be paved anyway. And like I mentioned earlier, many roads and many holdups in some of the wards is the fact that there's lead implications. And we can't do any work until it goes through engineering and the state is involved, and we all know that it's a 5-year process. So this is an opportunity to do it in fairly short order. I'm happy to answer any other questions that you might have about it, though.
Thank you for being so thorough.
Alderman?
Yeah, I think that it happened too fast. For whatever reason, we're only given like 15 days to be able to take that price. I mean, I don't understand why 15 days. And then again, as Alderman Keith stated, he's the chair of Public Works. I'm the vice chair. We didn't really hear about this, what's going on, or, you know, it's all happening too fast. The reason why it's happening too fast is kind of why we're like, okay, what's going on? I drove by there yesterday. I didn't see the roads look pretty good compared to inner city Waukegan. They look pretty good. And, you know, yes, you have your minor wear and tear here, I understand. 3 decades. There's also roads in the inner city that more than that. It all happened too fast. I want to compare pricing and stuff like that. I want to look and see why is it so cheap. I know that there are certain things because of there's certain things that we're not going to have to do. But I think that we should be able to compare pricing, and also do a little bit more digging as to why is that low. And if we can get our other prices down, then that'd be a good opportunity too. That's something that we should be doing. I think it's happening way too fast. And I don't know where. We got a text message recently that this was added. That is too fast for us to just say, yes, go ahead and approve it.
So I can't necessarily speak to the text message other than I can assume that it was the chance to just give everyone an opportunity to know about it as soon as possible. Yeah. And I'm not going to speak to whether it should go through Public Works or not, but if that's how you guys feel about it, I don't think this is, as blatantly stated by Alderman Turner, an opportunity to mask it. Obviously, we're all up here discussing it, so it's not, no one's trying to bury it. I think that there are only 2 contractors that do this work for the city of Waukegan, and this is one of the 2 contractors. I might be wrong about that, because I think a new asphalt contractor did just recently come online.
Yeah.
But we're not going to get. Maybe we get one more bid. Best case scenario, we get one more bid.
And then probably Peter Baker will probably still come in the lowest, maybe, because they own the asphalt company.
So that's why I want to compare the low price that we're getting right now to let the public know, hey, these are the prices that we're getting. It's all public. It's all on the. I want to make sure that we're getting the low price for overall for everything as well. So it's a good opportunity to compare. That's something that we would be doing in our. One of the steps we would be doing in our committee. So that's why I find it it's very interesting and very too fast for me, I would say.
Stu, is there a reason why this couldn't be done after the fiscal year, after May 1st? And why it needs to be done before the end of the fiscal year?
In other words, why would it have to be approved?
Right.
It's a matter of when how long the bidder will hold up in their pricing for. And, that's something that either engineering or Public Works could speak to.
I have one more thing.
Can I speak first?
Alderman
I haven't had my chance yet.
Alderman Floria.
I see Engineer Jesus is here. Would you be willing to come up and address this and explain why this was done this way, what the pricing means, the fact that the price is low because there are no sidewalks and curbs? which costs a lot more money to do when you do the road, because you have to bring everything up to ADA, and you have to fix the curbs, and there's no curbs there or sidewalks, he said. So I would imagine that's part of the reason why the price is low.
That is part of the reason, Alderman Florian. The other reason is mobilization. We already have the contractor out here in the city. So when we already have a contractor mobilized with all of their equipment, they will give us the best price. Any other bidder will have to account for the mobilization. What the price is, I'm not sure, but that's where we see the savings in addition to the items that you already addressed.
And there's no lead.
And there's no lead, correct.
And when you did your analysis of the roads, where did this road fall? Because I don't know what grade you use, if it's like A, B, C, D, or good, very poor, really bad, whatever. Like, where is this road in your,
So we're still developing the system. We're working our way to the 9th Ward and also towards the 8th Ward. So I don't have that data with me.
this would be one of the areas, he said it's 27 years old. It's a good price because there's no curbing. So if we're going to do something in the 9th Ward, since there was nothing planned for the 9th Ward, if we're going to do something in the 9th Ward, this is a good place to spend our money, and we're getting a great price for it.
We are getting a great price. The engineering department can grant a one-time waiver to not have to do the sidewalks and the curbs because that requires additional engineering efforts and also a Lake County Stormwater Management Commission permit, which those take about 6 months at least to acquire and then go back and forward with the permitting process.
And did you nefariously put this in the Finance Committee because you didn't want it to go through Public Works?
No, I believe, it was put in just to consolidate the committee.
Can I ask one, Alderman Bolton, I'm sorry, you were next up, go.
So
I'm running this, okay?
I'm sorry.
Alderman Bolton.
Thank you very much. We do need to laugh. So in reflective to Alderman Felix, possible, I hear you saying, put the bid back out there longer? Is that what you're requesting? Not negating that the 9th Ward needs to be done, and thank you, Alderman Hayes. What is actually being asked here?
Oh, that we get some time to look at it, compare prices. We're not telling you guys what to do, right? That because you guys are the experts, but we want to compare like what it's just it's very very weird how it's happening. I don't feel comfortable with us voting on it because we got a text message that it's going to be in the committee, and then we got 15 days to get this approved, and it's in 9th Ward, political season, Mayor Alderman Hayes. That's just how just at all. It's weird. So I don't feel comfortable voting on that until we look at it. Those things pop out right away when I see something like this, that it has to be done. We're gonna save money. We're gonna do all this. I mean, I understand, but we still have to have our process. We have to have our time to look at it. That's my opinion.
Sure.
Alderman Hayes.
I'll
Ask him
add
the
two
question.
things. Alderman Felix, thank you for your comments. I resent the political implications. Looking past that, I will tell you that having driven through many times myself, the road is deteriorating along the edges on both sides, and because there are no sidewalks, people walk. And if there's potholes and kids are riding their bikes, or there's cracked concrete and they try to avoid cracked concrete and swerve into the road, they're at a greater risk of being hit by a car. It was the same thing last year with a culvert that was collapsing there that Public Works went out and did a fantastic job repairing. So there's a safety implication that comes with it. You can paint it in the political light that you're trying to, but I think at the end of the day, we have a road that needs to be repaired. We have many reasons in which we should repair it this year. No one's trying to rush it through next week in terms of getting the road actually paved. It's before the end of the year. And for all of the reasons that I stated previously, the road needs to be done, and the people of the subdivision deserve to have a better road. They've been living with the same one for 2.5 decades.
This is the last question, and then we're going to move forward.
I had my hands up before Alderman Florian.
You asked him the question, so Alderman Florian.
I don't remember if you were here when this happened, Jesus. Didn't we do something similar in the 7th Ward with, I can't think of the name of the subdivision, up off of Sheridan Road, where the roads hadn't been finished, and at the last minute, maybe Chris remembers. We had to approve it real quick because we got a great price, and it was like a last minute thing. It was like at the end of the season or something, right? And we did all those roads up in that whole subdivision in the 7th Ward because it was necessary, and we got a good price. So sometimes these things happen where things come up, and we have to make a decision because it's the right thing to do. We're spending other people's money up here, and we have to be as reasonable with it as we can. And when things happen, sometimes we have to jump on it. And we don't get time to think about it or decide or go drive past ourselves. We have to trust the alderman of the ward to say, yeah, this is something that's necessary. He's not getting any other roads done, you guys. This is his one road, really. Like, this is all so political because he's getting one road done.
It's like a quarter of my whole ward. Like, the whole thing is huge. It's a lot.
Okay. This is the last question, then we're going to do a roll call. If you don't want to vote for it, don't. If you do, okay. Alderman Guzman.
He's talking about one road. This is the only road. 2nd Ward got none last year. Zero. Not even one. So you want to talk about one road? Here we go. 2nd Ward got 0 last year.
Same with the ninth.
So
Same with the ninth ward.
So let's go to vote.
All right, roll call, please.
Alderman Guzman.
No.
Alderman Florian.
Aye.
Alderman Hayes.
Aye.
Alderman Bolton.
No.
Alderman Newsom.
Aye. Motion carried. Item D, an ordinance fixing the salaries to be paid to elected officials of the city of Waukegan. Can I get a motion on the floor?
And just for clarification, there are 2 ordinances on this agenda that have the same name. This first one is for the aldermanic salaries.
Yes. Can I get a motion, please?
I'll move so we can talk about it. So moved.
Motion by Alderman Florian. Second?
Second.
Second by Alderman Hayes. The City of Waukegan Code of Ordinance requires that salaries of all officers, elected and appointive, as well as salaries of employees of the city, shall be fixed by ordinance adopted annually or by the appropriation ordinance of the city each year, in accordance with Section 9B of Article 7 of the Constitution of the State of Illinois. No increase or decrease in the salary of an elected officer of the city may take effect during the term for which the officer is elected. Further, Section 50 ILCS 145/2 of the Illinois Compiled Status requires that compensation of elected officers be fixed at least 180 days before the beginning of the elected officer's term. There are no proposed changes to the automatic salaries over last year. Are there any questions to this motion? Alderman Florian.
So I remember when we voted on this, that we voted, I know what you said, next year it's not changing, but on this exhibit, it says in '27 it's going to change. And I thought we voted that down.
What happened with this, it was voted on to go into effect in 2027, but it was called, I don't know why according to the new whatever, we're supposed to be voting on this every year, even though it doesn't go into effect. And there were some changes that were made to the salaries for 2027 that's in this ordinance.
Yeah,
But
so
I
when-
thought that motion failed.
No, the motion for the raise of the aldermanic salaries, starting with the new term, which would be in May 1st of 2027, the schedule that was adopted last year is for a raise of $5,000 from $22,000 to $27,000. That is what is passed. Now, as the chair mentioned, that that could conceivably be changed. It cannot be changed less than 180 days beforehand, before the next term starts. But right now, this is what the salary schedule says.
I thought it was 22,000, and as of May 3rd, 2027, the increase shall be a 2% annual increase to the base salary commencing May 1st, 2028. The expense account is going to go from 250 to 500, and that starts on May 3rd, 2027. Committee chairman, $75 will go to 100, and members of the Code Revision Appeals and Negotiations will stay at $75. Now, the base pay, I didn't see anything in here about the base pay going from 22 to 27.
Alderman, it's Exhibit A.
I don't have that on my page here. Okay. So the base pay will go to 27, and then an increase of 2% each year. The increase, I think, was supposed to be, the increase will be 2% for the base after 2027. For 2028, increase. Yeah, so I don't know.
So I would have to go back and look at what the discussion was last May, but if for clarity's sake, Alderman Florian, if you would like to amend and clarify this ordinance as presented to reflect that the last column of Exhibit A reflects a 2% increase of $27,540, that would be the
Well,
2%.
honestly, I voted against the raise increase, so I don't want to do that because that's going to make it even more. But I'm just pointing out that to me, this is not what I remember we talked about. So I thought the whole thing failed. So, it was last May, you said?
I believe it was finally voted on. I can't remember if it was voted on.
It was before the last election. I think it was probably in December or January. It was right before the new officers came in.
Yeah, it
Aldermen
was-
came in.
Exactly. It was on May 1st, so it was an hour, about half an hour before we were sworn in. You guys passed it.
So is there a motion to amend it to stay at 22,000?
So the motion could be to either strike the language that calls for the 2% increase and leave Exhibit A as is, or change Exhibit A to start the 2% increase on 5/1/2028.
Well, the election, the new term starts in 2027.
Yeah, I think the reason that the base was kept at 27,000 for 5/1/2028 is because that was basically, the alderman could opt to take it unless there was an emergency. I'd have to reach back and look back and see why it was written that way. But for clarity's sake, as my co-corporation counsel said, if you want, for more clarity's sake, for this to represent that there would be an increase as of May 1st, 2028, from $27,000 to $27,540, that we could correct that.
What is the desire of the alderman? To amend or deny the proposal?
I have a comment.
To fix it, I mean, it's not going to happen for
Right.
3 more years, but just for clarity's sake.
Yeah, it looks to me,
Hold
when
on.
you read that section, and I think Stu is exactly right, it looks like that the increase, you're eligible for the increase unless you were to vote and say, we don't want the increase. So I think that option was left in there. I think that's what happened.
The 2%, it was going to increase unless in the event that the city experiences a financial hardship that impacts the city's ability to maintain staffing levels or employee compensation, the alderman may elect by resolution unanimously to forego the increase on a year-to-year basis. Alderman Bolton?
Yeah, I just have a comment. So I know some of us up here do this because we are passionate about it, but I was just reading, if you make $22,000 a year, you're really just making $10.58 an hour. And then weekly, you're only making $423.08. Monthly, you're only making $1,833.33. So the work that we do, we're really not compensated for. I know sometimes we're paid part-time, but sometimes we do full-time hours, and I just wanted to make that comment.
So, Alderman Florian, Alderman Hayes, the motion by Alderman Florian, Alderman Hayes, second. Do we want to just move this to the full council and then have the whole council discuss? Can I get a roll call, please?
Alderman Newsom.
Aye.
Alderman Bolton.
Aye.
Alderman Hayes.
Aye.
Alderman Florian.
No.
Alderman Guzman.
Aye.
Motion carried. Item E, an ordinance fixing the salaries to be paid to elected officials of the city of Waukegan. And this proposal is for the mayor, clerk, and treasurer salaries. Can I get a motion on the floor? Can I get a motion, please?
So moved.
Seconded.
Motion by Alderman Florian. Second by Alderman Hayes. Are there any questions to this motion?
Yes. Right here.
Alderman Bolton?
Yes, so once again, in reflection to, reflecting the comments during audience time, how do we make that adjustment to honor their request?
This was voted on last year in May, and Alderman Guzman, I guess you voted to bring it back out. So do you have any comments you want to make?
It should stay the way it was amended, not any raises.
So has everyone looked at the expense account and for the city clerk, treasurer, mayor? There be, starting May 2025, be a 2% increase to the base salary.
Actually, it was amended and then taken away.
May 5th, 2025 shall receive a 2% annual increase to the base salary. That's what's on here.
Chairman Newsom, if it should have, it went back to vote when I brought it back and I got it amended and it wouldn't pass, so it was taken away.
Again, it's not shown in the chart.
And in
A,
the
the
ordinance,
back
it is on the, it's in the ordinance, but it's not on the, well, on the chart. There is an increase. No, there is no increase. So these are mixed. No increase on the chart, but in the ordinance, it says a 2% increase. So this is another one that needs to be amended, or I voted for an increase in the clerk's salary because I thought that it had not been increased for several years as the alderman pay. And it's not tied to a particular person, it's tied to an office.
I got a comment.
Alderman Guzman.
Okay, so this was, since you were not on the prevailing side and the prevailing side voted to take it away, you cannot bring it back up. So unless somebody brings it up from the prevailing side, this dies right now.
No, that's not correct,
Oh, how is it not correct?
because this is a new ordinance. This is a new ordinance for a new year.
But wasn't the, okay, when the previous council voted on May 1st, 2023, they voted to give the increase for 2027. And then they voted on to.
For aldermen, for.
No, for city clerk, mayor.
Their term starts the 2025.
Oh, 2025, I'm sorry, 2025. They voted to give them an increase for the next city clerk or next mayor, to give them an increase. And then when I got sworn into office, I brought it back a couple months afterwards, and I amended it, and it came back, and it got denied. So that's we had, what, 5 votes?
So every year, because the Waukegan Code of Ordinances requires that every year the city council pass a salary ordinance, not only for employees, but for elected officials. So even though the state law controls when those increases can happen, every year the Waukegan Code requires you to bring back an ordinance approving salaries.
So every year I have to go through this?
Unless you want to amend the municipal code.
Okay, then I put a motion to amend the elected officials for mayor, city clerk, not to receive the 2% increase.
So just to clarify, this would be an amendment to Section 5B of the ordinance as presented,
Correct?
and it would basically remove
It
all.
would be the mayor, the city clerk, and the treasurer, if I remember correctly. Those 3 were aligned together in this.
So it would remove Section 5B from the ordinance as presented. It would not have any effect on Exhibit A.
Correct.
So we will be voting on this as amended? Or do we have to vote on the amendment? Okay, the motion by Alderman Guzman is to amend, to remove the 2% increase. Is there a second? Is there a second to remove the 2%? I think your motion failed for a second. So we're going to go with the motion to approve the salary ordinance as is. We have a motion on the floor by Alderman Florian and Alderman Hayes. Roll call, please.
Alderman Hayes,
Aye.
Alderman Newsom,
Aye.
Alderman Guzman,
No.
Alderman Florian,
Aye.
Alderman Bolton.
Aye.
Motion carried. Item F, an ordinance fixing the salaries to be paid to management and non-union employees of the city of Waukegan. Can I get a motion on the floor?
So moved.
Motion by Alderman Florian, second.
Second.
Second by Alderman Hayes. Are there any questions to this motion? Being none, can I have a roll call, please?
Alderman Guzman,
Aye.
Alderman Florian,
Aye.
Alderman Hayes,
Aye.
Alderman Bolton,
Aye.
Alderman Newsom.
Aye, motion carried. Item G, a resolution approving and authorizing an intergovernmental agreement among the members of the Northeastern Illinois Regional Crime Laboratory for an amount not to exceed $133,409. Can I get a motion?
So moved.
Motion by Alderman Florian. Second.
Just trying to give someone else an opportunity. I'll second.
Second by Alderman Hayes. The Waukegan Police Department is a member of the Northeastern Illinois Regional Crime Lab. This agency is currently responsible for processing physical evidence removed from crime scenes throughout the city. The 2024-2025 membership assessment fee for the city of Waukegan is $133,409. This is a share fee arrangement which is based on the population of each member's municipality. The payment will be made from line item 100-6085-24436. Are there any questions? Roll call, please.
Alderman Guzman,
Aye.
Alderman Florian,
Aye.
Alderman Hayes,
Aye.
Alderman Bolton,
Aye.
Alderman Newsom.
Aye, motion carried. Item H, a resolution approving an agreement for Schroeder and Schroeder, Inc. concerning CDBG Sidewalk Committee. Can I get a motion?
So moved.
I second.
Motion by Alderman Bolton, second by Alderman Florian. CDBG staff requests the Finance and Purchasing Committee recommend to approve the award of a contract to Schroeder Inc., an amount not to exceed $129,905. There was another bid that came in higher than this one. Are there any questions to this motion? Roll call, please.
Alderman Guzman,
Aye.
Alderman Florian,
Aye.
Alderman Hayes,
Aye.
Alderman Bolton,
Aye.
Alderman Newsom.
Aye, motion carried. I, a resolution authorizing the procurement of Class A uniforms from the Locker Shop and Unique Apparel Solutions for a not-to-exceed amount of $25,000. The Waukegan Fire Department is seeking permission to purchase 40 Class A uniforms. Each uniform is $625 for the total price of $25,000. The vendor is Unique Apparel Solutions and is the sole provider per our department specifications. Funding will come from GL Code 100-3020-25469. Can I get a motion, please?
So moved.
Motion by Alderman Florian.
I second.
Second by Alderman Bolton. Are there any questions to this motion? Roll call, please.
Alderman Guzman,
Aye.
Alderman Florian,
Aye.
Alderman Hayes,
Aye.
Alderman Bolton,
Aye.
Alderman Newsom.
Aye, motion carried. Item J, a resolution authorizing the procurement of firefighting turnout gear from W.S. Darling and Company for a not-to-exceed amount of $45,708. The Waukegan Fire Department is seeking permission to purchase 13 sets of Inatex Energy firefighting turnout gear. Each set of gear is $3,481 for a total price of $45,708. The vendor is W.S. Darling Company and is a sole provider per our department specifications. Funding coming from GL Code 100-3020-25469. Can I get a motion?
So moved.
I second.
Motion by Alderman Florian.
I second.
Second by Alderman Bolton. Are there any questions to this motion? Being none, roll call, please.
Alderman Guzman,
Aye.
Alderman Florian,
Aye.
Alderman Hayes,
Aye.
Alderman Bolton,
Aye.
Alderman Newsom.
Aye, motion carried. Item 3, reports and communications. Are there any questions anybody have on our reports and communications? We did get a sheet from Mr. Schultz, kind of streamlining things for us. Are there any questions? Being none, can I get a motion to, I should have said item A was annual treasurer's report, but our treasurer is not here tonight. So we've moved on to the reports and communications. Can I get,
Madam Chair? I
On the
know it's
floor.
not on the agenda, but since we're trying to pass the budget tonight and this is the Finance Committee, can we ask if there's any questions of this committee to discuss the budget before we
are there any questions?
adjourn?
Are there any questions of the alderman? I know that we're going to have a presentation right before the council meeting, or right at the beginning of the council meeting.
I just
Are there
figured
any-
since we have 10 minutes, if there's anybody that has questions, it would maybe be appropriate to try to address some of them now as opposed to waiting till the council meeting.
Are there any questions?
Yes, I have questions, but
Bolton?
I have questions, but I like them at our main meeting,
You like them what?
during our main council meeting.
Oh, okay. All right.
Before we adjourn, since the treasurer's not here, why isn't the deputy treasurer here? And giving us the report?
I can't tell you that, sir.
Well, where's Chief of Staff Bridges or the mayor? I want that. Why isn't she here? Or who, or he, I'm sorry, she or he?
I don't know. The treasurer is here today. I don't know if he's coming to council but he's been in the building today, so I assume he'll be here.
So my question is, if he's not up here on the diocese, why isn't the deputy treasurer here, giving us the
That's a
report?
communication he would have with her, and if he's going to be here, she wouldn't be here, so I don't know. My assumption is that he hasn't told me differently that he's not going to be here.
Well, that's not looking good.
All right, can I get a motion to adjourn?
I so move.
Motion by Alderman Bolton, second.
Second.
Second by Alderman Hayes. To adjourn at 6:52. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Thank you, everyone.